Hi everyone, Becca here and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if this is the first time you're here. So today I want to talk to you about nature versus nurture, and this really is looking at developmental psychology. So I really want to touch upon very briefly the two debate arguments of nature and nurture, and looking at it from a middle standpoint view as well. Is it one or the other, or is it a mixture? Let's find out. So we are who we are today. But what is that made up of? Is it our genetic biology that's made us who we are? Or is it our environmental surroundings that have really caused an impact as who we are as humans today? So there's been a massive ongoing debate about this for many years, but on both sides of the argument of nature and nurture, and there really isn't actually a solid conclusion. There's always been a mixture of the both. So I'm just going to talk you through a couple of those. So for example, your social environment could shape your development through risk factors as well as reinforced learning. But looking at perhaps a biological perspective can also be a key factor through your development, such as your ancestral history and hereditary and genetic predispositions. So prenatal learning is also quite a cool one, which is the nurture side, and that actually also is biological. It has both aspects, which is cool to know that, psychology and the learning isn't always straightforward and plain and simple. It can weave between the lines, and that's what I really love about this science. So in terms of the biology side, the nature side, human development and growth can be affected by parental genetic influences. So especially if they have a disease or perhaps a chromosomal abnormality, this may mean that a child might not experience normal progression, and this may be through a physical disadvantage or perhaps their predisposed abilities to learn, their mental capacity may be at a disadvantage because of a certain chromosome abnormality. Now, looking at the flip side of that, the sort of nurture side, people might say that there's risk factors, which I mentioned earlier. Now, what technically is a risk factor within the environment? So I'm just going to give you 30 seconds now to think on the top of your head. What could be a risk factor that might influence a child's development? This is talking about prenatal, so when the fetus is growing inside the mother. So have a little think, and I'm going to give you some examples now. So this can severely impact a child's postnatal development through potentially maternal stress. If the mother is really stressed, that's going to cause some physiological challenges and actually carries through to the fetus. Also, another influence is diet and drug use. So that is why it's really, really focused upon pregnant women to not consume any drugs at all, because it really can affect the hormones and the physiological disposition of carrying over to the fetus. So it's quite interesting really, but kind of one area of psychology that kind of relates to your nature and your nurture is the cognition. And this looks at the social language and the biological intelligence. It combines the both. So Vygotsky's model looks at language and intelligence, and actually our environment, if our mothers are speaking, then the baby actually listens to the language within the womb. It's actually, studies have been shown to do this. And the kind of the nature aspect is the genetics and the chromosomes and the learning through the DNA data is transported and within the fetus. So it's really quite cool that you get that kind of biological hardwiring, but you also get that nurture side, and that's what I believe in. I believe it's the mixture of the both, because studies have shown that two people with twins separated at birth, they both could have different upbringings, but yet their biology is exactly the same, and they've done different things. So it really does play a part on your upbringing, your nurture, your exposure to your surroundings, but it also has that aspect of what your DNA and your structuring within shows. So I think future research on neuroscience and molecule behaviour will be a really great way to kind of develop this psychology for even further and to explore those avenues. But really, I think what we're going to have to take away from this is it's a multifaceted approach, and that just means that it's more than one option, it's more than one way, it's not black and white. And I think this debate really shouldn't be an argument between one or the other. I think in this day and age, I think we can appreciate that both sides of the argument are valid, but I'd love to hear what you guys think. Do you think it's nature? Do you think it's nurture? Or do you think it's a mixture? I'd love to know what you think, and let me know in the comments below. And if you haven't already, please like and subscribe to the channel. I look forward to seeing you soon. Bye!